Hello, it's Mama, and I'm doing something different on my channel. Geny Fear, a content creator I adore, has a series about stuff that was never intended by the creator to be scary, but it turned out to be terrifying. Her series is called Unintentionally Terrifying. This means it can't be something that the creator intended to be horrifying. To give you an example, Jano from Rayman 2. You see, you're making your way downtown, exploring the world, and then suddenly, oh my god, look at them big teeth! This game is rated E for everyone! How many kids got scared when they saw that? Oh dear lord, he wants to eat you! Rayman 2 isn't a horror game, but it's very clear that the devs had intent to make this part of the game scary. So, in this video, I want to talk about a character that hella frightened me when I was a kid. Nano, from the 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon. Before we begin, I want to give a massive shout out to Geny Fear for the inspiration for this video. They're a hella cool content creator that makes videos focusing on horror. It does say on her channel description that every day is Halloween based. She also does live streams as well, so what are you waiting for? Go give her some love and support, because to be honest, it's so refreshing watching someone who's so passionate about horror. Plus, she's so genuine too, and I don't see that often nowadays on YouTube. When you watch one of her videos, you can tell how much love she puts into it. This video wouldn't have been possible without her, so her links will be in the description of this video, so go check her out and give her some support. Now! And special thanks to Kuma for creating the avatar I used for the thumbnail of this video. Oh my lord, it looks so good, it's incredible! Their art style is a cutesy one, but they try to do horror and oh my god, it looks so good. They're so talented. They too deserve a lot more love and support. Their links will also be in the description of this video. Heads up though, they do draw the naughty stuff. That's not safe for work. You have been warned. Geny Fear, Kuma, links, description, go support them. Okay? Do it now. Woo! Okay, let's do this. Let's start the video. First things first. Let's cover what exactly is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Well, it's about a bunch of turtles that get exposed to chemicals, turning them into mutants. Then they learn how to use ninjutsu to stop evil, hence their name. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Made sense to me. To give a quick history lesson, it was first a comic book back in 1984, which sold like crazy. Then it led to a toy figurines being made of them, which also made a shit ton of money. Then it grew even more. Video games, animations, and movies were made too. Hell, in the making of this video, there's currently a 2024 animation called Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Wow, that's 40 years after the first comic was made and it's still going. That's impressive. My introduction to them as a kid was a 2003 animation, which I had really fond memories of. Well, mostly. My mama even bought me one of the magazines at the time. I even remember getting the video game for dirt cheap on my birthday from Blockbusters. Man, I miss Blockbusters. So yeah, nowadays I really don't have an attachment to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but I still remember fondly of the 2003 animation. So, with that history lesson out of the way, what exactly scared me when I watched the 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animation? Nano. Yes, that is Nano. This is what terrified me when I was a kid. They appeared in episode 5, named Nano. Alright, I'm gonna go through the episode. However, I'll be mentioning how it frightened me when I was a kid. Then I want to give my thoughts on the episode as an adult. Reflect on it and see if it still holds up. Let's begin, shall we? The episode starts with Nano's origins. You learn that it can infuse itself with metal and electronic materials. The scientist explains that the future plans for Nano is to disassemble organic cells. So, you've seen what they did to the toaster and radio, right? They want to do the same with organics! That's us! What? At this point, I was like, oh my god, but I wasn't scared. We then learn that Nano has a mental age of a toddler. Then the scientist is upset with the results and electrocutes little Nano! Not only was this just so upsetting, but this started the fear that was building up in me. It's obvious that Nano is a type of machine. By that scream it did, while they were being electrocuted, it sounds so disjointed, like a human child screaming. Me being a dumb kid, I was confused. Like, what is Nano? Is it a thing? Is it a boy? Is it a girl? Is it a human being that was being experimented on? Was that a kid? Is that what's gonna happen to me? Asking more questions didn't help. Then it got worse seeing Nano escape the lab. You're telling me they can sneak through stuff with a drill? Oh my god, it's smart. What if it comes to my home when I'm sleeping? After Nano escapes the lab, they see Harry. It's very clear he's trash. He's known as the pickpocket and a Schlub. What a funny word, schlub. He sells a broken toy to a child and steals the wallet off the father, then makes a run for it. Harry then meets Nano, and honestly, his reaction is really reasonable.
What in the... No!
Then it cuts to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and we'll just skip it because it's about Nano. If you don't like that, bite me. This episode is posted on YouTube, so you know, if you want to watch the whole thing, go and watch it, but watch my video first, yeah? Then Harry sees an opportunity to take advantage of Nano. God's the way they say daddy makes my back shiver. Ugh.
Daddy!
They proceed to rob a jewelry store. I gotta mention how Nano moves individual parts to express itself. That's actually really cool, and it's even human-like. Then wires start coming out, and this freaked me out. This little thing can rip apart anything like it's nothing at all. Oh god. And we're back to the turtles again. Since the store that Harry robbed was near April's apartment, they want to do a sleepover? Skip! Also, this posed by Cassie Jones. So, Harry and Nano proceed to rob another store. It goes down, but then Nano sees some masks on the counter. He understands Harry can't really tell what Nano is expressing, so Nano takes the mask since it could resolve that issue. And well, it's pretty uncanny, the way the masks shift and the little jingle that's played. I was like, this is really weird. Yes, the masks do allow Nano to express themselves better, but they look so stiff, even lifeless. It's so uncanny. See? Look at me, I'm happy. This really freaked me out.
Come on.
Then Cassie enters the scene and grabs Harry. Nano's mask shifts again, and she is clearly upset. And again, it's so freaky how it just changes. Nano is freaking out that their daddy is under attack, so they use a car and transforms into a bigger machine. And yes, the masks still stay the same. And yes, this made me afraid, like really scared, terrifying. Look at how Nano walks, the angry mask and that smack, a machine monster. All I could think of is how Nano could easily crush a human being with ease. Then the turtles enter the fight. The way Nano changes masks. Harry gets freaked out by the turtles and begs Nano to keep him safe. The fight has begun. It's so freaky how Nano attacks, but then Donatello uses a fire torch on Nano, and well... That scream! That is so horrifying! It sounds like Nano is in agony! Nano grabs Harry and butts it. By the way he holds Harry and Harry's smiling, it's so funny. Here's something that made me freak out. A piece of Nano fell off and it still moves! What the fuck? I know it's just a metal piece, but it's still alive! So, the turtles take a closer look at the piece, and we learn more lore about Nano. To give you the quick rundown, the nanobots act as one, but when a piece is cut off, the remaining nanobots become mindless. The nanobots also makes copies of itself, and keeps multiplying. Extreme heat will destroy the nanobots. No wonder Nano was in so much pain earlier. That's it. They use a tracker to hunt Nano down. Cut back to Nano! In the metal yard, Harry praises Nano, and this makes Nano happy. But then the thought of Nano being taken away changes her expression. The turtles make their way to the metal yard, and look for Nano. Stealth attack! The way Nano jumps. He must weigh a ton. One step could crush anyone. Another transformation? While Nano is screaming, their arm stretches out and turns into a giant. How big can Nano get? I was hiding behind the sofa when I saw this, and oh my god, the sound it makes, it's so uncanny, but it also feels so human, like a child. This made it so much scarier. So, the turtles' plan is to attack Nano as quickly as they can so Nano can't repair itself. Forget about, you know, the high heat weakness guys? Okay. It works. But then it gets so uncanny. Look at Nano expressing naturally on the screen. There's no masks changing or shifting or rolling. It expresses itself naturally. It's so... It's evolving. And yep, the nanobots are clearly representing blood in this shot. Oh my god, the dead hand, the screaming, also that little smirk it does. Nano then grabs one of the turtles, and all I was thinking as a kid was, look at this monster, can it even be stopped? Donatello uses their brain and gets the fire torch, but Nano is too fast. Something being so big and feverishly fast? Oh no! Look at how Nano moves as a giant! Nano even manages to catch up and pick up their van, smashing it! What? Raphael distracts with his motorcycle, so the van can slam into Nano into the metal crusher. Look at Nano's expression! This is an action-packed kids show, right? When did this get so horrific? Of course, no good since Nano fixes themselves. As a kid, I was like, this thing cannot be stopped, this thing cannot be stopped, this thing cannot be stopped! Crawling up the crusher, oh my god, look at how Nano runs! The turtles have one final plan, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. Matter of fact, I want you to watch. This legitimately made me have nightmares for months. I will never forget this scene. This scene is scarred into my mind. Here is what happens.
No! Kid! Are you alright? Hang on, kid! Daddy's coming! What? No! No! I can't believe you're gone. My one real lucky break, and I broke you. I'm sorry.
Nano was burnt alive. It's one thing if it was just a drop, but no, you see Nano's hand that looks bloody. You hear their scream, begging for their daddy to help them. And this made me cry in fear. The intent with Nano was not to be horrifying. The writers wanted you to feel bad for Nano. That monster was literally a kid. Even one of the turtles mentions that they feel bad for Nano. Unintentionally, Nano is terrifying. The way their mask changes, to their screaming, their transformation, how big it gets, acting emotionally, the way they move, and how Nano dies. And as a child, this was too much for me to handle. So now I want to reflect on the episode as an adult. Looking back as an adult, this episode doesn't scare me, but instead it's just so depressing, and it was really well made. It's actually incredible. This episode isn't about the turtles. It's about the importance of parenting, and how a lack of it can seriously affect a child when they grow up. Parents really do play a huge factor of who their kids will become, and if they're mistreated like Nano, then it will lead to them suffering. Or even worse. This episode's specific message is about the lack of a decent father figure. Thus, since Nano has no mother, you could make the case that a lack of a mother figure affected Nano too. Nano is the center of attention. We see them grow like a human does. Nano was born, was a toddler, grew into a child, grew to a teenager, then an adult. But Harry's influence or lack of care impacted Nano. Like in the end, when they died, crying out their last words, Daddy. Mentally, they never really grew. The speed of how fast Nano grew up really tells you how fast time goes by. A nice little detail is how Harry calls Nano a kid, or my boy, throughout the episode. It really humanizes Nano. Of course, when Nano dies, their hand looks bloody. A machine can't bleed. In my opinion, this is a clear symbolism that Nano has human traits, and that's something that's really cool about this episode. Nano is really humanized. Then we have the masks that are really cool too. Yeah, it's still pretty freaky how it changes, but it's a neat way for Nano to express their feelings. In my opinion, it also represents how adults sometimes struggle to understand what a child's emotions are. It's very easy to overlook what a child is feeling. Harry does this a lot with Nano. Side note, I really adore when Nano grows up, the way he expresses his feelings changes too. The masks shift, then it cycles, then it's natural. It hammers so much that Nano is growing. It's also really unnerving to watch, even now. It's also really sad how Harry represents parents who come in too late for their children. He's a scumbag, uses Nano for his own gain, is outright a horrible person, but seeing him in the end crying, understanding how precious Nano really was, feeling so much regret for mistreating Nano, I do somewhat sympathise with him. It's very clear he never wanted little Nano, but he took them in, and for better or for worse, tried his best. It's very, very apparent that Harry never wanted or should have been a father. He truly did care for Nano in the end, I guess. Even the turtles mention how bad of a parent Harry is. Not everyone should be parents. It's only that much sadder because Nano was always loyal to Harry. Children weren't no better and trust their parents even if they're being abusive towards them. All Nano wanted was a daddy. Hell, when Harry was threatened, Nano wanted to protect him so bad, he quickly made itself bigger, just to keep Daddy safe. Even when Nano was in the lab, all they wanted to do was play, and they got hurt by the scientist. And I have to admit, I cried watching this episode again as an adult. It's a powerful story, and to think it was all done in 20 minutes. Amazing. Also, whoever thought of using the theatre masks as a way for Nano to express themselves is such a genius. Those masks tend to be used in a way to hide someone's face, to hide their true intentions. But Nano uses it as a genuine way to express themselves. That's so adorable. And this is all because Nano has the mind of a toddler. It also makes sense why Harry isn't too keen on the masks. And in a way, it reflects on his own personality, not wanting to take care of Nano and abusing Nano. It's like a reflection mirror type thing, if that makes sense. And of course, in the end, the only thing that survives is one of the masks. And it's held by Harry. Wow, this is so depressing. Oh god, no. Now, I have to mention the way Nano transforms throughout the episode reminds me of John Carpenter's The Thing. It starts small, slowly infecting the other things and becoming bigger and bigger, using different parts to make a body, how Nano moves differently with each new form, a piece of Nano falling off yet it still moves, using different methods to destroy Nano, yet Nano comes back, extreme heat being its weakness. The nanobots keep making copies of itself. Being allowed to expand could lead to devastating results for everyone? It might be a coincidence, but I don't care. I believe Nano was a nod to The Thing. I also want to ask a moral question about Nano. Can Nano feel things? Can a robot have human emotions? Should Nano be treated as a human? As a human child? In my opinion, yes, for Nano's case, absolutely. Not only do we know they have a mental age of a toddler, but it's very clear that Nano has emotions and acts upon it. It's not a system program. Nano is a child. Remember, Nano also understands Harry and feels pain. They feel sadness when Harry mentions that the turtles might take them away. They remember the abuse they endured in the lab. Even in Nano's final moments, the lava makes Nano's hands appear to be bloody. The writers are definitely telling us that Nano is alive. Now, if you do disagree, I want to know why. I really, really do. In my opinion, Nano is a human being and should be treated like one. Overall, this episode is powerful and holds up really well in 2024. I do have some criticisms though. When the spotlight is taken away from Nano, the episode becomes so slow. Plus, there's this little jingle that's played when Nano's on screen, and I know what the writers are doing. Basically, it's meant to make you feel bad for Nano and remind you that Nano is a kid. The problem is, it feels like manipulation. Ugh, I hate saying that word. So when it plays, it's like, feel bad for Nano. Before we hit the conclusion, I'm aware that Nano doesn't die and returns and becomes whatever the fuck this is! To be honest, it wasn't needed. More doesn't equal better. The Return of Nano episode is more of the same, and they even tried to do the sad ending again, but it doesn't work. We've seen this already. Urgh. Nano should have never returned. In my headcanon, Nano's story ends in the Nano episode. Just a reminder. You can watch this episode here on YouTube, and I would love to hear your thoughts on it. So yeah, I recommend the Nano episode. It's a good episode. Please, please, please check it out. And that's been my unintentionally terrifying video about Nano. I hope you found this entertaining to watch. This may be a series, I don't know. I may ask Geny Fear if she'd like to see more, since she inspired me to make this video. Do tell me your thoughts about Nano though. Did they scare you? Is it just me? I wanna know! Wait a second though, this video isn't over yet. As mentioned before, Geny Fear's series inspired me to make this video, so please, please, please go and support her! She has so much passion for horror, and her videos are always so much fun to watch. Don't forget she streams too. Her links will be in the description. Please, please, please go and check her out! And of course, special thanks to Kuma for making the avatar used for the thumbnail. Their artwork is so cute, and they are always wonderful to work with. Heads up, they do draw the not safe for work art. You have been warned. Again, their links will also be in the description too. Go and support them. So what are you waiting for? Do it. Go and support Geny Fear and Kuma. Do it now. Support them. What are you waiting for? Their links are in the description. Do it. Go, go, go. Thank you.